Welcome to the TrailManners podcast, Singletrack Session number 106. Eric Manning here with Joel Hatch, and we have a full slate today to cover, and we'll follow that up at the end with a couple really good Ask TrailManners questions. So keep those coming. But we're going to start off, as you may have recognized, or maybe not, because we've been off for so long, but we launched a Tuesday podcast.
We did.
Episode number 121, we had Mrs. Tara Warren on, and we talked about her UTMB experience this past year. One thing we didn't even talk about during the podcast, but you see she was the third American female.
Right.
Which, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is.
3501. But it's a good show. As most of you know that listen to the podcast, we giggle a lot and have a lot of fun, and that was definitely one we had a lot of fun with. So we encourage everybody to go back and listen to that. We had her on as well on number 3 and number 34, so it's been a while since she's been on.
Right.
But just a great show, great person, cool experience, and a great year, and we just wish her luck at the Bear. But then we also are ready for episode 122 coming next Tuesday.
Which we've already recorded.
We did, so put that on your calendar because we have a longtime listener to the show.
Right.
And her name is Erin Hill. And
local uphill climbing specialist.
Absolutely. I like that.
Right.
That should be on our business card.
Yeah.
/ defendant.
Yeah, public defender.
That's right.
Yes.
/ needs a superhero name.
Right. I need to get her card just to keep it in my back pocket in case I need somebody to help me out.
Yeah, just
if I get in a little bit of trouble.
A little bit of a jam.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on. You get one phone call. I got it.
Yeah, I got it already. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
I got her on speed dial.
And you're in trouble, suckers.
That's right.
We had Erin Hill on, and we talked about her experience, her first 100-mile race, and she's fairly new to trail running. It's, when we say that, it's 4 or 5 years, but even the racing, fairly new.
Right.
She's had a good year, but she capped that off with an amazing performance at Wasatch this year. So we kind of talk about her background, her history with running, as well as the experience at Wasatch. So we encourage everybody to listen to that next Tuesday, episode 122, and we want to definitely say thanks. She actually brought us cheese, crackers, and tattoo arm sleeves.
That was such a pleasant surprise.
How unique. I put my tattoo arm sleeve on last night.
Did you?
Because it's like full sleeve.
Right.
And I looked in the mirror, I'm like, yeah, I could pull that off.
Oh, no.
If I had a job, well, I have a job, but if I wasn't worried in the future.
Oh, yeah. Like you got to go back to the corporate world.
Yeah, if I had to go and do a 9-to-5er.
Right.
I don't know.
I think that so many millennials now have those sleeves or a half sleeve that's just kind of a given.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember doing a lot of interviews, and I worked at Smith, and it never bothered me. I mean, we didn't interface with the public because it was like consumer service.
Right.
Warranty. But I always appreciated when they'd come in and disclose it.
Yeah.
They'd come in with, looking nice, long sleeve, and just so you know, I've got this. And I'm like, that's okay.
So you could do the same thing. You could roll your sleeve up and say, check these guns out.
Check this out, sucker. Yeah. But even mine comes down a little bit.
It does.
Under the sleeve.
Right.
If I wear a shorter sleeve. But, it was super cool. We love when our guests bring stuff, and it just kind of shows the guests that really know us.
True. Good point.
Because I got those cheese curd Hatch chilies ones. Oh, those are
have you tried them already?
Good. Yeah, I did.
I haven't tried them yet.
I tried those last night.
Yeah.
But I didn't try the chive cheese curds yet. But even that she brought the tattoo arm sleeve because she's heard me complain about my tattoo not being done.
Right, for months.
Since April 3rd is when I went in, and I just completed it with a 12-and-a-half-hour session this past weekend.
Right.
So that was a very long session, and my arm still hurts, but it's done. But, thank you, Erin. What a great show. I've had the opportunity to go back and kind of mix that, and we laughed quite a bit.
Right. It was good fun.
So it was a lot of fun. So without further ado, we're going to get rolling here on the, kind of our normal show, kind of what's happened this past week, what's coming up, and what's going on. We don't do this a lot. We kind of foo-foo it a lot in good jest, but first thing we're going to talk about is the new marathon world record.
Right. Road marathon.
Road marathon. And we don't talk about road running.
No.
I've never run a road marathon. I have no plans to run a road marathon, but you got to give props.
Recognize, right?
When things happen. I mean, it blew up all over social media, so I'm sure everybody out there knows about it. But it absolutely, I'd feel not like I wouldn't feel like I was doing this podcast justice if I didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
His name, I have to go for.
Yeah.
And I haven't listened to it on ESPN, so I don't know how it's pronounced. It's Eliud. That's the first name, so I'm going to go with Eliud.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Good.
Last name is Kipchoge, so I'm going with Kipchoge.
Yeah.
Because that just sounds cool. And he's from Kenya.
Right.
So he ran this past weekend the Berlin Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
He ran it in 2:01:39.
Right.
So it's a new marathon world record. He beat the old one. Now, this doesn't sound like much when you know, especially from the trail world or just in life, right? He beat it by 1 minute, 18 seconds.
That's a lot.
But when you're talking the road marathon at that speed, for those people out there, all you runners, he averaged for 26.2 miles, average 4:39 mile.
That's insane.
For 26.2 miles. And I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to kind of just see a little bit of it, not the whole thing, because I'd fall asleep. Like, no, I'm not going to say because I don't want to offend anybody, but he looked so smooth. Like, he didn't look like he was working.
Right.
I was looking at him
just got done. He's like, where's the cheese curds?
Yeah, he's like, come on, dude. Who brought the IPA, man?
Right.
You know, but it just it was beautiful. I mean, he just looked like he wasn't even, it was effortless.
Right.
And they were talking, I was reading somewhere, and this is where I'm not familiar with road marathons, and I don't want to get down the rabbit hole, but it talked about how he kept dropping his pacers.
Oh, yeah.
So we had 3 pacers in the race.
I didn't know you're allowed to do that.
I didn't either, but I was reading it, and they kept dropping them.
Rabbits?
Yeah, they call them rabbits, I think, but in the article I read, they call them pacers, but he kept dropping them. And
so they're setting that pace for
him.
Gotcha.
So basically...
Hey, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
If they're breaking that... They're creating that wind block for that person. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, and I read something else because they did that Nike 2 mile, 2 hours and 25 seconds, but stuff like that didn't count because they actually were drafting. Right. But I don't think in this race he was drafting. I think they were just pacing with him because there is a rule there somewhere, and I don't know what it is. I don't want to get down the rabbit hole. But either way.
The effort still is amazing.
Yeah, 2:01:39, 4:39 miles.
That's insane.
26.2.
Yeah.
So, man, trucker hats off to you, bro. Congratulations.
Right.
And
be nice for him to step into the real world and do a little trail marathon.
Yeah, get him up here on the BST, see what he's got.
Right.
I'll let him give me a head start.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't know, man. I know people talk about it, but 1:39, 1:40 technically, 1 minute 40 seconds to go under the 2 hour.
That's still
marathon.
Significant.
It's huge. It's huge.
That's insane.
It's a huge gap.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think we'll see it in our lifetime.
I hope so. I think that'd be cool.
Because that means you and I are going to live for a very long time.
Yeah. Right. Hope not too long.
Right.
You know, I hope not too long sitting there pooping my pants watching it on TV or something.
Right.
But, anyway, we'll move on. But huge accomplishment. It's just amazing. Like, I can't even fathom that. It makes me kind of vomit in my mouth thinking about it. Then we'll go to the next one. I know this is going to be breaking news. We always like to tap into this. It's pretty rare. It's just, it's like coming over the wire, like.
Right.
But Killian, the Hornet, has won another race.
2 races, didn't he?
I don't know, man.
Because didn't they have 2 races back to back?
I'm not even sure.
I think they did. So the first one was Ring of Steel?
Ring of Steel Sky Race.
Right.
It's 29K. You gain 2,500 meters since it's over in
that's a lot.
there. It's still for 29K.
That's almost 10,000. That's like 9,000 feet.
But once again, he decided not just to win, but break the course record.
Of course.
And he's just coming off a UTMB drop.
Right.
Again, we talked
about. So
he's
pretty fresh.
Yeah, he's super fresh. You know, he's got the bee sting covered in mud.
Right.
You know, whatever. But we talk about Courtney, and we think she's hands down. Just give her the Ultra Runner of the Year. I think the same goes with Killian. I think he's up there because he's literally had a flawless year minus UTMB.
That might be the only race. UTMB is the only race I think that he has not won, right? I mean, we'd have to go back and check. Yeah,
I think so. He's won a ton this year. Everything he's raced this year, he's won but UTMB.
Right.
20 minutes better than the old course record. He did it in 3:04.
So I think the next day he went to Glencoe and did a shorter race there and won.
The Glencoe Skyline race?
Yeah.
I can find it real quick. Yeah, he did. Yeah, in 3:37.
Yeah, see?
So he decided to just go back-to-back and win 2 races in a row.
Right.
Just craziness, man. Come on. I can't fathom that stuff. back-to-back at that level. It's
Right.
not just like running,
Yeah.
like back-to-backs. I mean, he was
It's not like he came over here. It's not like he did Ring of Steel and then got on a plane and flew over here and ran the Nordic Valley 7K.
Yeah.
Right, and won that.
Yeah.
No. The competition's a little stiffer on those races over there in Scotland.
I would think so. And, you know, I lost my train of thought now, but the race over in the Ring of Steel race is like, it's part of the Golden Trail Series, and they're saying it's the most technical of all the races.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So that means it's even harder,
Yeah.
right? Scrambling, everything. So it comes off that with that kind of technicality, and then goes to Glencoe in Scotland.
Yeah.
So, one weekend he's, crushing one, and the next day he's crushing another. So just crazy. Super cool, though. It's always fun to see, again, having someone like this in our lifetime to watch.
Right.
He is just phenomenal, and best of luck to him in the next race he wins, whatever he enters. But there's a few other races this weekend. I think we can go to Run Rabbit Run next. Mm-hmm. We kind of threw out some predictions for that.
Right.
I don't think we were far off.
We were a little off the mark. We both kind of said Jeff Browning was going to win.
Yeah, he came in third. Yeah, he was about an hour behind the winner, Jason Slarb. Slarb had a great day.
He did. That was awesome.
And he took home $13,500.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad for a day's work.
No, not at all.
A little bit more than we're pulling in.
Right.
Second place was our local dude, Mark Hammond. Super excited to see him take second.
I didn't think that he'd be able to do that off of UTMB, but good for him, man.
So he took home $7,500.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Browning did come in third.
That's like the ultra sweep right there.
It was.
Right?
I think top four.
That's
that
awesome.
one, because Kyle Pateri, I think he's ultra, and he took fourth.
Right.
Jeff Browning took home 5K. So for top three people, that's a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, but you got to. I was thinking about this because Jeff's pretty competitive. We know Jeff; he's pretty competitive, but he's not like he doesn't come out and he's not like super aggressive competitive.
Right.
But 13.5 to 5, that's a little bit of difference. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, it is. It's huge. That's huge.
Because you know he was going to win.
I think ultras like super excited, but then they're like looking at these finishes and they're going, dang, man, we probably got to match that. It's probably in the athlete contract.
Somewhere, yeah.
You know what I mean? That they got to match that winning.
Or even next year, some of these people might be going, hey, we're bringing you a lot of...
I think Ultra was a sponsor of the race, too, right?
So that race could have cost them a little bit.
Yeah, I think it cost them quite a bit.
They're going to have to sell a few more shoes. But yeah, that was the men was Schlarb, Hammond, and Browning, top three. One name I saw in there that I haven't seen for a while was 7th place Andrew Skirka.
Yeah, he's the hiker, right?
He's the mountaineer type guy, too.
Hiker.
Yeah, so you haven't seen his name for a little while. On the women's side, Michelle Yates came away with the win in 22:33, followed up by Roca Talo from Spain. Mm-hmm. And third place was Carrie. Emma Roca. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Carrie was fourth. I think I picked her to win, so she took fourth. That was on the hare side. They had 40 finishers on the hare side. I think, and it doesn't show DNFs, so that's a smaller field than I thought.
Right, which is rightfully so.
But, I mean, do you think of the hares if you take 40th, you're last, but you're probably faster than a lot of the tortoises?
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe there might be a couple fast
tortoises.
Let's
see. Let me take the times. Yeah, 30:22. So, yeah, that was 40th place. Maybe they should have been on the tortoise side. I don't know. Because the tortoise winner was 22:23.
Oh.
So time-wise, they were Charlie MacArthur from Steamboat won the tortoises 22:23. So he was about 4 hours behind Slarb.
Right.
That's not bad.
Significant.
That is.
Right.
But I mean,
like in the money race, that's pretty significant.
But he would have came in.
That's still really fast.
He would have came in 8th place in the hares, though.
Yeah.
So that's super awesome. I mean, he coming ahead of. Well, all the female finishers and some solid men's finishers as well.
Right.
But yeah, so the tortoise side, on the men's side, Charlie MacArthur, Chris Kudrin, and Ted Bross, and Ted was 24:23. On the women's side, we had Brianna Tidd. Up next was Paulo Fierro from Colombia. That's a little different for me. And Kim Jimenez from Long Beach. So. Money race, still pulling it in. I mean, they had 67 finishers in the tortoise race, 168. Right. So
that's pretty good. They got a new course, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know. I think they have a late start time too, if I remember right.
I think you're right. Making them race through the night.
Yeah, but course record Schlarb has on that 17:15.
That's fast.
But I go back to when you change courses, you don't know how they hold up to the other one.
Right.
Because Rob Carr had 17:40. I mean, there's some fast course records there, but that was our Run Rabbit run. The next one we'll bring up is the I'm Tough in Idaho, which we've had friends do that. We had some friends run it this year. Super tough race. There's a lot of discrepancy on the length of this race. It's like billed as a 100-miler.
110, 111.
We've got some different ones. But the winner came through in 1922 on the men's side. David Ayala from Bozeman, followed by Andy Reid and Jesse Rickard. On the women's side, Olga won. Nev Trinos. And second was Helen Scotch. Third was Molly Zern. We had some friends run that.
Yeah.
John Stewart, buddy of ours, he ran that.
Looks like they all had a good time.
Yeah, had a good time. Who else was running that one? There was Jeremy Actor, Jackie Actor.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm tough. That's a tough race, though. Like, literally. I went up there one year, paced a little bit, crewed it. Beautiful country. Yeah. Start-finish is phenomenal.
Right.
Bergdorf there. It's super cool.
Pretty remote.
It is extremely remote, and it's a long drive. Like
scary remote.
I think it was the week before, maybe even less, but it might have been 7-day notice. John Stewart says, "Hey, man, you want to come pace?" Yeah. And I already had plans, and I don't know if I could have got away, but I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I keep up with you, even if you're having a bad day.
Right.
So, yeah, that was that one. But here's the one I want to talk about a little bit. Tour de Jean.
Yeah.
So this is the one that a lot of people have been talking about.
I think you're going to see a much bigger interest in this next year.
I think so. It's 353K or 219 miles.
Right.
And it's through the Italian Alps.
How much climbing's on there? Do you know?
I don't. From what I understand, there's a ton of climbing. I don't know.
I thought I saw like 80,000 feet.
Oh, God.
I could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
You're hoping you are?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'd have to do a little more research, so apologize about that. But basically, it's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
And this race had 534 people finished, 480 men, 54 female.
Wow.
359 withdrew.
Whoa.
Yeah, 307 male, 52 female, and 1 female was disqualified.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. But the winner of this finished in 74 hours and 3 minutes.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. Now, I know we have 200-mile races here.
Right.
But this one is a little, I'm going to say tougher, right?
I'm going to say tougher.
With the vertical, with everything else.
And the weather. I think the weather was not ideal.
The pictures I saw, everybody was bundled up pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, I think Luke had every piece of Patagonia apparel he had at one point.
Yep.
But it was pretty cool because the Americans over there, Matthew Smith took 7th in 85.14. Friend of the show, Luke Nelson, he finished 8th. And he did an 85.22, and he called it like the greatest experience of his life, basically. Yeah. Who else was over there that we saw?
Joe Grant was over there, but he dropped.
Yeah, Avery Collins finished 11th here from the States.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, a big foreign contingency, obviously being where it's at.
Right.
It makes more sense. But yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful though. But I don't know pain threshold. I mean, you have 359 people drop.
Yeah.
534, so it's, you're still getting 60% plus finish rate, so that's pretty good still, I guess.
It is, especially for that distance.
But I would be curious, and I don't have time to look, but I'd be curious what, like, the cutoff for the last place person is. I mean, we're talking...
do you have a week?
Yeah, I don't know how long you get. I mean, you got to be well over 100-plus hours, though, obviously.
Yeah.
Because of the times, but, yeah, pretty awesome. So it was really cool to see, kind of follow and see how well, Luke did over there. Because I know he's been really gearing up for that race.
Right.
And he's run everywhere. And
he's very experienced.
So to call that one of the greatest things he's done is pretty cool.
Right.
But other than that, there's a lot of other races that went on last weekend, most of them overseas.
There was a new 100-miler this last weekend in Washington. Did you see that? It's like 10 away or...
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Something like that.
10 away. Yeah,
this sounds like it's going to be an interesting race in the next couple of years, just because of the report says that the climbs and the descents seem to lack switchbacks. So it's like straight up and straight down.
Okay, that means it's hard.
That means it's hard.
I'm trying to snake it in, but I can't find anything real quick on it.
Right.
But yeah, I did.
They have
that.
a website, and it's on Ultra Sign Up and all that stuff. But anyways, it could be a nice option. It's up in Washington,
and it's
really,
TEAN.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, let's see, what is it real quick? I got it right here. 28,000 feet of gain.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, it
looks like it's an out and back too.
Is it?
It looks like it. If you pull the course profile, it kind of looks like it's an out and back.
Our website's not working for me. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you see that climb and then that climb.
Oh yeah, here's the map. You can see the map there. Yeah, but I mean, there's not a lot of flat running sections.
No, there's a lot just up and down. That's all there is.
It's a heartbeat.
Yeah,
it's a heartbeat for sure. But yeah, I did see that cool logo. I did see that, and I was kind of curious about it a little bit because it was a new one. But
anyways, it's just an option going forward for people
that want to check that out. We also had and I always say this wrong, and it makes people not happy with me. Is it Mogian? Mogian.
I think it's Mogian.
Mogian Monster down in Arizona.
Yeah.
100 miler that kind of got resurrected a little bit.
Right, I'm glad they did that.
I am too. So that's back. That's a qualifier.
Mm-hmm. This will definitely be a qualifier.
The 10 away. It's in CLE spacebar ELUM. So Clay Elum. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Clay Elum.
Yeah, they don't have their results up yet on the 10 away, but yeah, that was a new one. Another thing we talked about a little bit last week was Ben Light doing his Wasatch 100 /
300-mile journey.
Yeah,
because he did the Tahoe 200.
Yeah, so and we have some kind of unofficial because they gave him a finish time,
right?
But he
got a buckle.
Yeah,
saw that.
But he didn't finish during the race because he got a late start.
Right.
So he finished Wasatch 100. Still, the Wasatch 100 he finished in 30:38.
Right. Solid time.
Tahoe 200 he finished in 83:52.
That's insane.
So between the 300 miles, I mean, we're 114 hours. So
that's a lot.
And that's 2 states, a plane ride.
Right.
Everything else. So, oh my gosh. And we've had him on the show. It'd be fun to get him to kind of talk about the logistics and how all that went down. But
right.
Pretty phenomenal, Ben. Congratulations.
That dude's tough.
He's super tough, man. Just when we had him on the show, he's like chiseled tough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
when he gets old, like in his 60s, and gets some wrinkles in his face, he's going to look like Clint Eastwood, badass. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to end up looking like. Just super stoic is the word I'm looking for. Another cool thing we never really covered, but it's over, is the Lazcon.
Yeah, he had to hurry up, get back home.
He did. He had to kind of kick it in gear, and I was kind of looking at it here and there, but it's kind of funny because he'd do his, which is Lazarus, which is the Barclays RD.
Right, Gary Cantrell.
So he basically went from Newport, Rhode Island,
right,
the Atlantic Ocean, to Newport, Oregon, on the Pacific Ocean. And some of the things is like they did this little following him, and people were doing comments, and he's like, "Yeah, I offered him some water, and he wanted a cigarette."
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I was talking
funny.
to Grant Nicholas this past weekend because I got a chance to run with him, and he had paced Laz for a little bit.
Yeah.
He was just telling me stories about it, and he just wanted like Coke and Dr. Pepper and cigarettes. That was his go-to.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
How cool would that be, though, to walk with that guy when he's in different states of whatever he's doing, and just hearing stories.
Yeah,
because not even with Barclays, but you look at him, he's got stories.
Oh yeah, for sure. Right.
Bodies buried places, but he did it in 126 days, 11 hours, 41 minutes, and 57 seconds.
Yeah, he had it down right to the second.
Yep, and he says he thinks he's going to take the day off after he finished. I'm like, that's probably a good idea. Put your feet up, grab a pack of smokes.
Right. They had I think the mini Barclay was this last weekend.
Yeah, it was a Barclay Fall Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took place this past weekend for sure. That's, they can call it whatever they want, but that looks hard as hell.
Yeah, no, thank you, because I think those briars are like taller and longer.
Yeah.
This time of year? No, thank you.
Saw some photos of people's legs, and they were way worse than people that do the Barclay. Now, I know that Barclay's harder, don't get me wrong, but this is not like easy. Yeah. It's not like, hey, I'm going to run a marathon. Now I'm going to run a 5K this weekend. This is still a butt kicker. But that was this past weekend for those guys and gals around that. All right, what do we got now? A little shameless plug because we're getting there, folks, and momentum's picked up.
Well, yeah, it's time to advertise.
Word of mouth.
Talk about it.
Yeah, so we do have our Nordic Valley 7K December 15th this year.
Right.
We had our first one last year. We sold out, 100 people cap.
Right.
And it was a beautiful day. We got some snow the day that it happened.
Just a titch.
Just enough to make it fun.
Right. Yeah.
But it's, we kind of bill it as, hey, we're in Utah. We hope there's snow on the course.
Right.
But you never know.
Yep.
And we start at the bottom, you go to the top.
Yep. Run around.
And come back down.
Yeah.
And it's fun. People last year, I was really shocked at all the amount of people just hung out at the finish line with the snow. And we start early enough so you can, not have skiers on the mountain, but you finish so you can head back to your car, switch your clothes, grab your skis.
Yeah.
Ski for a few hours with the family.
Or go shopping.
Yeah, or go shopping. You're up in our area. So want to throw that out there. We've had some people register. We've had a lot more people talk to us about it. And, of course, we've been plugging it on the show. But, again, it's the Nordic 7K. We'll have links in the show notes if you're interested. It's a fun day. It's just kind of billed as a party race, just have fun.
Right.
And, again, last year we had people showing up, and I think they all had a good time.
I think so, too.
From first to last. So love to see people out to that this year if you can make it. And you still have the day ahead of you. You can get it done.
Yeah,
exactly. You still have the whole day.
7K is only 4 miles.
Yeah, if you want to go, baking or cooking or whatever you want to do, water skiing, right, go to Pine View. Yeah, it's only December. Put on a dry suit. So we're going to skip here to we'll go right into Woody Footies. It's Joel's week.
Yes.
We did notice a lot of cool Woody Footies. And I will throw this out. The Pacific Northwest is on fire right now.
Right.
Not like literally like we are in Utah, but like I shouldn't have probably picked better verbiage for that. But Pacific Northwest is tearing it up right now.
They're crushing it.
They're killing it.
Yeah. Them and our East Coast folks.
Oh, yeah. I think their leaves are better than ours right now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Ours are just sad right now.
Ours are dry
in
colors. But, yeah, the East Coast, they always do well. Just because it's so different between the two, right?
Right.
But Joel got to pick the winner this week, and it is a beautiful photo. So, Joel, I'll let you kind of take this. Again, this is by Sign Garage, where I went last week to check them out. I haven't been in for a while. They're doing cool. They're just kind of gearing up for the holidays. So even if you're not a race director and you want some cool gear, some specials, they do all kinds of cool stuff. I'm doing a customized cutting board for my daughter.
Right.
They'll do all kinds of stuff for you. So go in and say hi to Nate and Elizabeth there on 25th Street, the Sign Garage. They got some cool stuff, especially for the holidays coming up. And they're the ones that make it possible to send out these really cool limited edition trucker hats.
Right.
But Joel, you'll go ahead and who won this week?
Andrew Whetten.
Andrew Whetten.
Yeah, up in Logan.
Logan.
Like Logan, North Logan, something. I don't know.
On a mountain
on
a trail somewhere.
Yeah, it's a cool photo. How's that?
And he's got his dog in it.
He's got his dog, right.
Which is super cool.
It's a good picture.
So that's a winner. So, Andrew, if you are listening to the show, go ahead and email manners@trailmanners.com. Give me your shipping address, and we will go ahead and get your limited edition trucker hat out to you right away.
He's a local guy, so maybe you can meet him at the coffee shop.
Maybe, yeah. Or he can run down because he's super fast.
He is fast.
He's come to a few of our races in the past. So, congratulations, Andrew, and keep those coming in, especially with the leaves changing. I'm going to throw this shameless plug out there. I'm a huge aspen tree fan, like humongous. So if you see some of those
are starting to change here.
I'm picking the winner next week, so I'm just throwing that out there, people.
Just saying,
aspen trees.
You might get something extra in your basket.
You probably will.
Yeah,
you probably will. So and because I'm looking, we'll go there. But yeah, that's a little hint for you, maybe.
Right.
Last week, Strava. Let's cover that real quick.
Okay.
Buddy of ours, Spencer Wells, from the Palisades crew, because he ran I'm Tough.
Yeah.
He did distance in 126.3.
Nice.
Total run time, 37:38.
Wow.
Climbing, though, went to Brian Colmo in 20,791. So, and then it was
a small week.
And it was interesting, too, because
I thought I'm Tough had over 20,000 feet.
So I'm looking, because climbing second was Jackie Actor, who ran I'm Tough, and John Stewart, and they were at about 19 and change.
Oh, okay.
So
it's really close.
Really close
Gotcha.
to that. So, and it was kind of funny. Distance, Jackie was second. Roll run time, Jackie was second. John was third. So
gotcha.
The I'm Tough people kind of dominated the board, which might even happen more moving forward if you're running a 100-mile race.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that aren't running these races are kind of winding down a little bit. So that was our Strava week. What else we got? We have our WDYFTY Strava. How about Ask TrailManners? Because we got some really good questions.
Wait a minute. Before we get to that, did you see that a hunter was killed last week?
A hunter?
Yeah.
Oh, by a bear?
By a grizzly.
And they went and killed the grizzly.
Well, yeah, they had to.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I didn't read everything because I'm a huge grizzly bear person. I love them. And all I read was they found the grizzly and put it down. And that always makes me sad.
Right.
And I get it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I always question it, too.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, were you, I don't know how come the grizzly killed you.
Yeah.
Were you trying to give it a hug?
Yeah,
cuddle?
Definitely not this.
So, do you know what happened? Do you know?
Yeah.
The story?
So when I was up in Jackson this last weekend, the incident happened on Friday.
Okay.
And the story started coming out on Saturday, and then more of the story came out on Sunday, and just the nonsense of social media kind of muddled everything up until the last few days, where the picture became very clear what happened.
Okay.
And so a guide and his client were out hunting out in the Teton Wilderness in a very remote area.
Mm-hmm.
And they shot the elk with an arrow, right? But they couldn't retrieve the elk because it had wandered away.
Okay.
So they came back on Friday morning to find the elk, right? So they found the elk, and there was no apparent signs of bear, right? Because I think they had checked to make sure. So they're cutting up they're cutting up the elk.
To pack it out?
Yeah, and here comes the bear out of the woods, full charge at them. Got a hold of the guide, was chomping on the guide, and then the client was getting a handgun out to shoot the bear, and something happened, like he couldn't shoot the bear for some reason.
Gun didn't fire.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly. I think that the situation happened so quickly that, it's hard to tell what happened. So then the bear turned on the client, came over and started chomping on the client, and then he threw the gun to the guide.
Holy cow.
Right? And then the client took off because the bear turned back to the guide. The client took off, got on his horse, and ran to get help. At that point, the bear was totally focused on the guide. The guide unloaded a whole can of pepper spray into the bear, close range. Did nothing.
Oh, my God.
So the moral of the story is don't rely on bear spray.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, too, if the bear was already so jacked up.
Yeah.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, for sure, right?
The bear,
Yeah, there was no stopping that bear.
Yeah.
And the bear had its grown cub with it. The cub was 1.5 years old, they determined.
Wow.
So that's a grown cub. So the mom was still being protective of the cub.
Yeah.
And I think what they were saying in the end is that the bear had kind of claimed that carcass already.
Yeah.
So that was another
threatened
thing.
When someone came in to mess with it.
And it's just terrible. They found the guide uphill of the incident, and the guide had not been fed on or anything.
Oh, they just killed him.
So it was protecting
the feed.
And they determined that the cub had also helped in the killing as well.
Man, did they put both of them down?
Yeah, they definitely had to.
Do?
Yeah.
Man.
Right. So the moral of the story is bear spray is not a fail-safe.
Yeah, unless you put it on a human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then it's fail-safe, right? Then it's definitely going to...
I'll vouch for that.
Right. So
that's too bad.
It is too bad. It's a terrible story, and there was just a whole bunch of nonsense on social media. But you feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, because it is. You got two sides. One, not knowing the entire story.
Right, and I think that was a big problem.
Yeah,
is that there was all this information kind of being not leaked out, but just as much information as they knew was coming out,
and they were trying to piece things their own way.
Yeah,
together,
exactly. And people were just jumping to conclusions right away, just saying all sorts of nasty stuff. People that didn't know the area.
Yeah.
We're just spouting off and you don't know this area. You got to step back, get all the facts, and then form an opinion.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Stupid.
Too bad for all involved.
Yeah,
for sure. Because we kind of skipped that. You went up last weekend.
Yeah,
Tetons. Where'd you run this past weekend?
Oh man, we ran on the Skyline Trail, which is it's a ridge off of Snow King, which I'd never been on before on that trail.
So where's that for people that don't know? Is that in Jackson?
It's up in Jackson. It's right. Okay. It's right in town, Jackson.
So you can live in
from
Jackson.
Snow King, you can do this big monster loop. We did a smaller loop of 16 miles, but still it was awesome. You get way back in the kind of spooky area, oh shoot.
Did you guys have bear spray?
Grant did, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
He took bear spray, and we saw we saw 2 hunters coming out, and then on our way back, we saw a bunch of mountain bikers.
Okay.
But at first, we didn't see anybody. It was awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was
being
cool.
out there by yourself.
It was really pretty. The leaves were starting to change. The weather was great. No smoke in the air. It was good fun. It was everything I could ask for.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I loved it.
That's
had
really cool.
great company. Grant Nicholas took me on a tour.
Yeah,
it was good fun. You know, we had a good chat about ultra runners' salaries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he had some inside information.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I was really surprised at some of the stuff that he was telling me.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
it's fun hanging out with Grant. I got an extended hangout with him this summer, Palisades and
yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah, it is. It was a lot of fun. I love the area up there, though, man. I still want to. It would be fun to get up there again. Just for just a Teton trip, it'd be nice to go up and just do a little bit more,
right?
Because you're so used to it here. And I haven't touched on it a little bit, but we want to send, because we love this, but Utah is severely on fire.
Oh.
Structures being burned, people being evacuated, and
right.
Again, tip of hat to the fire crews that are battling day and night, 24/7 for just weeks and weeks to keep people safe. It's ugly. It's been a bad year.
Right,
man. Just be careful no matter what you're doing, especially if you're camping, if you're out in the woods. Just be really conscious of what you're doing and leaving no trace at all.
Right,
literally, because it's scary. We did some trail work cleanup last week with. I was with Trevor Fuchs and Sean and Jim Skaggs and a few others from the show. Preston Wood was there.
Right.
There's a few others. I'm trying to remember everybody's name right now. But anyway, I saw there were cigarette butts laying in like dry weeds.
Yes.
And I'm like, I was getting so irritated.
Yeah.
I'm like, do people not get it? It's like it's not.
I think that's part of just habit for those people, and also just they don't care.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't get it; they just don't care.
It's sad, man, because it really irritated me because I was picking up, and it got tedious when I'm trying to get my fingers and gloves on to pick up these teeny cigarette butts. But I was irritated because it just made zero sense that people would do that. So people be careful.
They would use a little bit more common sense.
And I think that's a lot of the problem. Like I know this Harriman fire we just recently had that burned structures.
My gosh,
some kids doing fireworks.
Smoke bomb.
Yeah, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the weeds.
Right.
Just, people are like, oh, this is where I struggle a little bit. People are like, oh, they need to, what do you call it? Like, go after the parents for this. And I'm like, that makes it a little harder, right?
I mean, the parents need to be on the hook for it.
They do. But I'll tell you what, if my kid did that and I was on the hook for it, I don't even know what to do. You ground them for life.
Oh, I mean,
there's only so much you can do.
No, there is. And actually, Grant Nicholas and I had a really long discussion about that too, because that kid up in Oregon, who burnt down the
whole gorge,
like what, $3 million he's on the hook for.
Yeah.
He and maybe his parents too. There needs to be an appropriate level of punishment, but you don't want to hamstring them for the rest of their life, right?
Yep.
You're like, okay, you're going to get a second chance, but you really need to pay severely. But we don't want to hold you back the rest of your life. Them and their parents.
Yeah, and I think a lot. My opinion too. I'm from the old school. I think they should make that kid do so much work, community service type stuff. Like a lot of it.
Until he's maybe 24 or 25.
Yeah,
that's all you're doing.
Yeah, mandatory stuff.
Absolutely, that's all you're doing.
Yeah,
for the Forest Service too.
Yeah,
you're out there. You're rebuilding trails. You're
cooking
doing
for them.
Yeah, exactly.
When
Stuff
there's a
like
fire.
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about. I'm like, you got to make them pay.
Yeah, for sure. And then outlaw fireworks.
I've said that forever.
Outlaw recreational fireworks. There's no need for that anymore. You have to have a license and you got to go through training. That's the only way you can have fireworks.
Look at the money that's being spent.
They said how much money
fires.
was being spent on this fire down here every day.
Yeah,
$1 million.
Yeah,
maybe more.
And it's not and we've seen them all over the country in the West.
I'm talking about our state.
Yeah,
and then the fires south of Provo right now.
Yeah, $1
million a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, is that worth it to have a kid in the driveway with a 30-second $5 wow? I mean, I don't like fireworks. I'll see the big stuff. I'm more confident because they have fire trucks. They do a little bit better job there.
Right, they got training.
Yeah, but the random hold my beer, watch this guy.
Yeah.
Or kids.
The cul-de-sac of fire.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I've said that forever. So.
Right.
And the other person that was there last week, and I don't want to leave him out because I had a great conversation. Travis England. He's here. He's been from Bellingham.
Right.
He helped out a lot with the trash pickup. Super nice guy.
Gotcha.
Listens to the show.
See, I get him and Steve England mixed up all the time.
I don't get them mixed up, but it's just like their names.
It's that whole England thing.
Yeah,
throws me for a loop.
Yeah. The other thing I want to throw out, because Joel kind of mentioned it, and I think it's very important this time of year, especially here where we're at, and I know other places, but when you're out running this time of year, please be aware of hunters.
Oh, yes.
Because it's season.
They have a right to be there.
They do.
All right.
If they're in there, if they're supposed to be there, you
don't interfere with them.
You got to be careful.
Yeah.
You know, like I try and wear brighter colors.
Right.
Me and Joel have been spooked more than once.
Yes.
We came across the turkey hunter up near Snow
Oh, my
Base.
gosh, yes.
That scared the bejeez out of both of us.
Right.
But yeah, they have a right to be there. So just be careful, for your safety as well.
Yeah.
And
be nice. They have a right to be there.
They do. And that's what we have done. Trails aren't ours just because we run on them.
Right.
I mean,
do you know who Andrew McLean is? Have you seen this?
McLean.
So Andrew McLean is like the godfather of Wasatch backcountry skiing.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a guidebook called The Shooting Gallery about, different backcountry ski routes in the Wasatch. And so he and his wife, who is a really good, I don't want to say, she might have been a Nordic skier at one point, but then she did some randonnée races, which is Skimo now, back in the day. They live up in Park City, and they were out on a hike, run.
That's what I was going to bring up, too.
They stole
a tree stand
that was very expensive,
and
they got charged for the felony.
Yep, they had trail camera. They took a trail camera too.
I think the trail camera captured them taking the stuff.
Well, they took the first trail camera,
right?
And there was a secondary one that they caught them doing. He's like official up there. She is.
Well, she's like an attorney for maybe Park City or the district or something like that.
Big.
And he's a Black Diamond sponsored athlete.
Yeah, I saw the picture of him packing that out.
Yeah.
And it's funny, some people are like, well, maybe he didn't know. It was abandoned. It's like, come on.
No, they knew what they were doing.
People are smarter than that.
Yeah, exactly. These are two very smart and intelligent people who made a mistake.
Yep.
And he admitted it.
Yeah, that's good that he admitted it and didn't try to skirt around it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it has a right to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be.
If you think it's abandoned, you talk to the appropriate people.
Yep. And again, you could be opposed to hunting.
Yeah, that's fine.
But still, it's still legal.
It is.
In those areas. It's still right, so you got to respect it just like you're running on the trails. But it's that time of year, folks.
Oh, yeah. Be careful.
Please be careful. Would hate to see anything happen to anybody for something silly, because there's all types out there, and you just never know what you come across. All right, here we go. Ready? These are some thinkers for you.
Oh, so we're back to the questions.
We're back to Ask TrailManners. I think we covered most everything else.
Right.
So we're here at Ask TrailManners. So the first one we'll go into is from Rebecca in Oregon. Rebecca says, I'm looking to do my first 50-mile trail race near the end of June. Mm-hmm. The furthest I have run is a marathon, but have since converted to trails. What would you recommend for some good, long training runs leading up to a 50? It has about 9,000 feet of climb and a bit more descent.
Oh, so she's already got it. She's
got
her races there.
She wants to know, should I look to schedule a 50K in the early spring? Just do training runs? What about weekly mileage? And that says, okay, just tell me what to do.
Okay, that's easy. Number one, definitely register for a race in the spring. There's a really good one up there in Oregon. I can't remember the name of it offhand. It's like a 40-mile race. It's old school.
Is it in I think I have one.
It's not Portland. I think it's like Central Oregon.
Oh, okay. Because the one I'm thinking is the Tillamook Burn. It's in April.
Okay, that's a good one. Go for that.
It's in Tillamook, Oregon, which is by the cheese factory.
Oh.
So
she has to do that now.
And so that's why it's on my radar. I just pulled up my sheet for next year, and that's what came up.
All right. So there, we got that taken care of.
So they have
definitely have to do that.
50K and a 20-miler.
Do the 50K.
So that would be good.
Right. Yeah, in April. I mean, she can do something in May.
2 months.
Right?
Yeah.
She can do another 50K in May.
Yeah, and that would help work on your nutrition.
Yep. Strength.
Because if you're doing 9,000 feet of climb and a bit more descent, that's a pretty good course.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure, and I don't know, well, you live in Oregon, but I don't know where at in Oregon as far as getting some vert in.
Right.
I don't know where your race is. So if you're like altitude, that could pose a different thing. If you're living near the coast in Oregon and you're going somewhere with altitude,
right?
So I think Joel's right. I think absolutely do a 50K if you can, for sure, in the early spring or, like I said, April.
Mid-spring, definitely.
Yeah, April, do a 50K. That's a good way to work out some of the kinks.
Right. And then we said back-to-back long runs are huge.
Yeah, I believe that.
Doing that once a month will definitely get you prepared for your 50-miler.
Yeah, but I think if you've done a road marathon, it looks like, because you've converted to trails, looks like it was a road marathon.
Right.
You've done some of the distance.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about, that's where marathon distance will dip. You don't have to go all the way to a 50-mile race.
No.
Or 50 miles before you run 50 miles, but a 50K is perfect.
It is.
It gets you right there. And as Joel mentioned, if you can do some back-to-backs, it's awesome. After your after you do a 50K race, say in April, if you go out the next day and just loosen up a little bit.
Even a 10-miler.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Oh, gosh, that goes a long way.
But yeah, I think that's it. And then, kind of throw
nutrition and your hydration system. Make sure that those two are dialed.
Yeah, and just kind of figure out what you want.
That's what the 50K race gives you the opportunity to test.
Yep, so I think that would be perfect because it's going to be tough. It'll be your first one, but
you'll love it.
You'll love it for sure.
Yeah.
Hope that helps, Rebecca. If you have any other questions, definitely feel free to chime in or listeners chime in on the
right.
The
if we didn't
page.
cover that thoroughly enough,
yeah,
ask us to come back and revisit it.
Yeah, but as you said, would you recommend for some good long training runs leading up to the 50?
So the races take care of the training run.
And should I schedule a 50K in the early spring? The answer is yes. Just do training runs? No. Mix of both. What about weekly mileage?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. Everybody's different, right?
Yep, everybody's different.
I think less is more, meaning that if you're between 40 and 60, that's probably appropriate.
Miles. 40 and 60
more
miles.
Is probably too much.
Yeah. I mean, if you're consistent with that type of mileage, you can be fine, especially if you have that 50K under your belt.
Yeah.
To kind of understand. And then judge it. I mean, hit that 50K, see how you feel after, and say, I need to work on climbing more. I need to, as Joel said, through the winter months leading up, get in the gym.
Yeah, get in the gym.
Listen to our last week's podcast about, what was it, episode 105. Joel gives a good breakdown on some things to do in the gym. So hope that helps, Rebecca. Great question. Thank you so much for sending it in. Next question comes from Mike in Utah. Mike says, GPS watches.
Ooh.
Garmin versus Suunto versus others. What gives?
Man.
I hear great things about the Suunto 9. Is it better than the others? Is it worth the price? Help a brother out.
Is it worth the price? No. None of them are worth that much. Let's be honest. I mean, if you're dropping $600 on the watch, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
But it's not really essential, is it?
No,
it's not.
It's not essential, but
you can use, if you've got a phone,
you can use your phone.
You can use your phone.
Yep.
For shorter stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever your battery life is on your phone, you can just get the Strava app, and you've got it, right? So that way you don't have to spend the money unless you want to have that wrist accessibility, which is kind of nice.
It is nice.
So look, you're like, okay, instead of pulling your phone out all the time.
Yeah. Or if you even know how to get a deal on one.
Yeah.
Garmin versus Suunto versus the others. I'm a Suunto guy, though.
Yeah, I think they're all kind of similar.
I've had Garmin in the past. I know it kind of comes with the same thing as a shoe thing.
Time ago. Remember those
huge
the
computers?
Big one
yeah.
with the orange?
That's
I remember those.
I gave mine away.
I'm sure reminds that.
But again, I think a lot of it's personal. You can have that debate. You can see it on all the social media blogs, on all the running things.
There's lots of reviews out there.
I have used Garmin and Suunto. I have not used others.
Yeah, the Apple one, I'm kind of interested in see how.
The Apple 4?
Yeah. For some reason, that's got my interest.
Well, that one will do stuff like send alerts.
Except for my wallet is not interested.
Yeah. What's that,
you get the EKG on it.
Yeah, you get all kinds of stuff.
500, maybe almost
600.
I think I saw at one point.
But I'm a Suunto dude.
Yeah.
Like Suunto. I've got the Spartan Ultra.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
Curious with the 9 just for the simple fact of the battery life.
It's got a bigger battery life.
Yeah.
That's the only difference, right?
I don't know. I haven't dove into it.
I'm going to say
until we get a Suunto 9,
right?
Which
and I even looked at what
shameless plug
our cost is on the Suunto 9. It's still
a couple car
hairy. It's still hairy, man.
But yeah, until I get a Suunto 9 to test it out, I'm not going to feel comfortable saying is it better than the other Suuntos because I do love that Spartan. The only setback on that is the battery life on the long stuff.
Yeah.
But I also have the older,
the Ambit 3.
The Ambit 3, which is a little bit longer battery life.
It's almost 30 hours.
Yeah.
If on the slow GPS setting.
But I would like to try the Suunto 9. But yeah, Mike.
Yeah, I would get a Suunto 9 and then get rid of my Ambit and the Spartan.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it is personal. I mean, we'll say this. There's people listening right now that are Garmin people. There's people listening that are Fitbitters. Yeah. You know, there's people that are listening. What's that other one? Epson. There's that Epson
that's
company.
right. That tried to make that run.
Yeah. There's a few other smaller brands, I think, off the top of my head. But you definitely have Garmin and Suunto as the front runners.
Right.
After that, it kind of depends on what operating systems you want to use.
Right. I think they're all really similar, right?
I don't know if you can really do that much differently with them.
I know Phil Lowry geeks out over the Garmin Phoenix, and he says that one is much more accurate. My level of need for accuracy is not as great as his, right? Like, I don't mind a little bit of variation. Yeah. It's not going to upset me. Yeah. But I think if you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I had to have it to the 10th of a mile. Yeah. Phil says the Phoenix is the way to go.
Well, and I'm going to be honest. Some of the stuff, there's so much on those watches I will never use.
Exactly.
And I'm not a technology guy. I just want certain things. I don't care about my heart rate. I don't care about track back, which could come in handy. Don't get me wrong. Right. But a lot depends on what you are looking for. I look for pace, distance,
time of day.
And
I like climbing too.
Yeah, vert. Yeah, I like that. But other than that, I mean, I have the Spartan, and there's so many features that I don't tap into.
Exactly.
But I love how easy it is. Once I get done with a run, right next to my phone, boom, sends to my phone, boom, send it to Move Count. You're done.
Strava.
Yep, you're done. So I do like the ease of that, and I know Garmin has their own system too. So But yeah, I hope that helps a little bit. If I'd like to get the Suunto 9 sometime, and I could give a better review on that. But I do like the Spartan Ultra a lot.
Right. And don't discount your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already got it. You've alalready probably paid for it, right?
Unless you're Megan, just got her flip phone that probably doesn't have that capability.
Put the Strava app on your phone, and it works just great.
Yep. So I think that's our 2 questions for the week. Please keep the questions coming. Mm-hmm. These 2 came in last night, both of them. So I was kind of getting nervous. I'm like, well, we're not going to have a question because we didn't get a closing quote this week.
That's okay.
So we got some listeners snoozing. But it was a busy week, a lot of races. We have some more coming up. I don't know what we have going on exactly this coming weekend, the 22nd.
I'm not sure either.
But I know the week after that we have the Bear. And I just got my hotel room for the capstone race, Turtles race in December. Dude, I'm telling you what, hotels in St. George right now, they're giving them away.
Are they? For that time of year? I thought that'd be kind of pricey. You going back to the Red Lion?
Yeah.
Or did you step up?
No, I didn't need to. It was like $60.
That's great. And you get breakfast.
Yeah. I'm like, and so I got it for Turtles race, and then I scheduled again for a weekend in January.
Nice.
Because it's $60 a night.
That's a good deal.
And that's a good Red Lion, and we know what they got to offer for food in the Mexican restaurant that's attached to it.
Oh my gosh, that is such a gut bomb, but it's so good after.
Yeah, it is. So I got the sweet $60 hotel. So I'll head back in January again, just kind of get out of the weather.
Right.
And I think that'll help me out. So December I'll go. So I'm going to run in Thanksgiving. I'll be in Colorado Springs.
Right.
Hoping to find someone to run with there.
Mm-hmm.
December, Capstone.
Yep.
January, I'm heading back down to St. George.
Nice.
You turned me on to that last year, so I enjoy those trails that time of year.
It's awesome.
And then who knows what's going to happen after, like if I'll do anything in February coming forward.
I'm sure you will.
I couldn't pass up on those $60 a night.
I know, right?
Man. Oh, I was like, I'll take 2.
Yes.
So we're scheduled through hotels.com, baby.
Go back to the creepery.
Oh, you know I am. Get some coffee there. I might go back to that chicken place.
Oh, Viva Chicken.
Down there in St. George. But,
you got it planned out, man. I like it.
I'm a planner.
Yeah.
I'm a planner. I got San Diego coming up in October. But I encourage people. I mean, it's a plug. I mean, Turtle's not doing anything for us, Turtle. But the Capstone race, December-ish, second week, like the 8th.
It's a hard race.
It is. It's a few different distances, and it's a lot of fun.
The first way you run it, it's runnable, right? Up the hill, the climb.
Yeah, you did good last year. I watched you run away from me.
Then the downhill is
technical for a bit.
And scary. If you trip, you're going to lose some teeth.
But it's fun.
It's fun.
I'll tell you, that top ridge line's a fun time.
It's
weaving
cool.
in and out of stuff.
That was
really my favorite part.
Pretty.
Yeah.
But then he has a washing machine style, which means you turn around and run back up. That's a hard way to go back up.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I know registration's open. Love to see you guys down there. Support Turtle. It's for a good cause. Starts at noon, so it's kind of laid back. It's like another one of those. It's the weekend before Nordic Valley, so it's my like decompression zone before things get hardy.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 8th, and ours is the 15th.
Okay.
So it's a weekend before. But yeah, if you don't have time, head down, go to Ultra Sign up. It's inexpensive and it's a lot of fun. That time of year in St. George, really, as I just found out, inexpensive.
Can be fantastic.
Our weather was awesome. I did a sleeveless set last year.
Yeah.
And we sat and interviewed at the finish line. So yeah, I'd love to see some more people down there to hang out. Joel's not headed down, so
I'll be in Arizona.
I'll be solo, so I'm gonna need some people to talk to and be uncomfortable around. So make sure you show up. Other than that, yeah, check us out, Nordic Valley, 7K, December 15th. We'd love to see you there. Help support the TrailManners podcast and our races. And we also throw it out there since we're there. Ogden Trail Running Festival, May 3rd and 4th in 2019. Last year, we took it a step further this year. We're looking to do some good stuff. That is open for registration and also for sponsorships for that. I think that's it for this week. Singletrack Session number 106. Eric and Joel, we're out.